Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started this evening. I'd like to welcome everybody here to the city of Lawrenceville's first State of the City. We're really excited to be able to share some exciting things. I know the mayor still is well prepared and to share his heart with you this evening about what's coming up in 2020 and there beyond. And so again, thank you for coming and making this evening special. First of all, I want to make a thank you to McCrae's Tavern, who provided the food this evening. Let's give them a round of applause. And then obviously Trackside 550. What an incredible event space. If you've never had an event here, please reach out to the folks here. This is for rental, and we love to have this right here in our entertainment district here in the city. We hope to have this event at our new Performing Arts Center next year. So we had a sold out crowd. We're just right at, yes, go ahead and make it. We had just over 180 folks sign up here. We had to shut it off last week. And so the new Performing Arts Center will have 500 seats. So we'll have plenty of seats to have folks come. And so we're very excited about that. A couple of announcements as we move on, just to help you get more engaged in the city. The city council meetings meet on the second Wednesday of every month and the fourth Monday of every month. So if you've never been to a council meeting, show up. Get engaged with your city. We also have an event next Wednesday that I'd encourage you to come out to. It's the Secretary of State's office had contacted our office, and with the pending elections that are coming up, we're going to have a rollout of the new voting machines. So you may have been seeing the legislature passed a law about new voting machines. We will have those on display next Wednesday from 6 o'clock until 7:30 at City Hall. So we'd love to have you come out to City Hall next Wednesday to take those voting machines on a test drive. With that, I want to give you a little bit of an overview tonight. The first part of the evening, about 15, 20 minutes or so, we've got some special announcements and some recognitions we'd like to do. The meat of our program, obviously, is a fireside chat with Mayor Steele, and it's going to be moderated by the Chamber President, Nick Messino. And then we're going to end with questions from you. So if you look on your table, there's an opportunity for you to submit online questions. So please make sure that you sign into that, submit your questions. We will get as many of those asked as possible. We've already got 4 or 5 already in there, so you guys are doing great. Please make sure you put your question in, and we will move with those questions at the end. I failed to introduce myself. I'm Chuck Warbington, the city manager for the city. I feel very honored to be able to host everyone tonight and city council, and we will introduce everyone in just a second. But before we do that, we're going to start off with an invocation. We have 2 special guests with us this evening. You're going to hear a lot about partnerships and relationships with Mayor Steele tonight. And what better way to start off with one of our strategic partners in the city with Impact 46. And I'm going to ask Jen Young and one of her interns, Cindy Wynn, who's a student at Central Gwinnett High School, to come give the invocation for this evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. This is my friend Cindy Wynn, and she is a senior at Central Gwinnett High School. She's a phenomenal student and an amazing community leader. And so she has been invited to do our invocation tonight and pray for our city and our mayor as we learn about the vision for this great city.
For this event, I would like to pray for our mayor, the people who are here tonight, and the growth of our city, Lawrenceville. Amen.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you. We have some special recognitions this evening before we get started as well. I know we have several of the Gwinnett delegation that's here, and I'll go through their names in just a second. And I know that they sat in traffic to get here and fought through some traffic to get here. So Senator P.K. Martin, I know was here a little bit earlier. Representative Chuck Stration is here. Please raise your hand. I know you hear these in the back. Representative Greg Kennard is here. Yes, in the back as well. Representative Sam Park. Representative Donna McLeod, and I know we have Commissioner, is Donna here? Okay. Representative Hutchison, thank you for being here. Thank you. We have Commissioner Marlene Foscue, thank you for being here. and Chairman Charlotte Nash. Thank you for being here. I'm going to introduce our city council, and I'm going to ask them to stand. Obviously, Mayor Steele, if you would please stand, and his lovely wife, Vicki. Mayor Pro Tem Bob Clark, and I know his lovely wife, Valerie, is here as well. I saw her. Yes, there she is. Councilman Roche, and I know Beverly is here as well. I think she's in the back sitting with some neighbors. There you go. Councilman Martin and his wife Nancy. Okay. And Councilman Jones and her lovely husband, Clay. I got you, Clay. You'll see some staff here, and I'll tell you, from our police officers to folks standing around the end of, or around the building here, before you leave, pat these guys on the back. We have the best staff that wake up every day providing great, excellent services to the businesses and the residents here. So thank you for our staff for being here, taking time away from their family, and then frankly, every day, spending the time and the effort to make this city a great city. My executive, go ahead. My executive team, Chief Wallace is here, Deputy City Manager Steve North, and our Assistant City Manager Barry Mock is here as well. So we have a great team here at the city. And hold your applause, one more thing. The folks that put on this event, the great communication event staff, Jasmine, Melissa, I think they may be behind us, and Arlene, thank you for all your work. This is a lot of effort goes into this. One final special recognition, and frankly, this is an announcement. You may have, if you haven't already done so, but definitely afterwards, make your way to the back of the room and look at the book exchanges. We are making an announcement tonight that the City of Lawrenceville is going to be the first organization that's going to be taking these book exchanges. There's over 200 of these in an initiative to really help with child literacy throughout the county. Chairman Nash, in her remarks, even challenged the county related to this. So the City of Lawrenceville is going to be the first city to put these out into the community, into the city. So I'm going to ask the Gwinnett Coalition, Katie Gill, to come up and tell us a little bit about that program. And I know we have some artists that are here that design these as well.
Thank you, Chuck. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Still. Thank you, City Council members, and thank you, Commissioner Nash, for your kind remarks about early learning literacy. Please make sure that you see these beautiful exchanges. I have lifted, touched, loved every single one of them, and for me to let Lawrenceville adopt them is a huge step, let me just tell you. But as a city member and someone who, even when I lived in Texas, still paid taxes here because we still own property, I'm very excited and proud that the City of Lawrenceville is adopting these. Great Little Minds stands for, and there's information sheets in the back, it's Gwinnett Reading Exchange and Art Transforms Little Minds. We want to make sure that every Gwinnetian is ready for kindergarten. Right now, 56% of our kindergartners are not ready when they go. 56%. That's across the board. Every city, every elementary school is affected, not just Title I. That is the reason we want to make sure and put these exchanges in the neighborhoods where the books are needed the most, whether it's a transportation issue, whether it's a monetary issue, maybe it's a language difficulty where they cannot get German books easily. We want to make sure these exchanges are placed in neighborhoods. We're going to co-ops. They'll also be in the hospitals. They will also be in extended stays where we know some of our children are. We also are going to be looking at some of our homeless shelters because there are 2,000 children here in Gwinnett County that are homeless. And we hope that number is correct. So with our early learning, we will be able to track and touch all of the children and make sure that they go to a different level, as well as have the parents participate in early learning activities, which is extremely important. These exchanges have been built by students. They were actually cut out by the Maxwell High School students of technology. They were put together with Great Days of Service. And the Paul Duke STEM School in Norcross, they actually put technology in them. So we will be able to tell how many times the doors are opened. We are about impact. Our stewards will be able to track how many books are in the exchanges, and then they'll be able to go online and go, oh, there was an event downtown Norcross. We need to go put more books in there. So that's the reason we want to make these exchanges a community effort. We do expect that the first couple fills, since they are going to neighborhoods that do not have books, they will be empty, and that's okay. But I need your help also in book collections. 0 to 8, new or gently used, and they also can be non-English. We actually have a team put together that will actually be very specifically going and putting in the non-English books into those neighborhoods where they will be used. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. There's information sheets back there. And before I leave the stage in my microphone, I would love to introduce 3 out of 4 of the lovely artists who participate. Miss Amanda, if you could stand up. She is tied to Lawrenceville, as many of you know. They have a business here. She's part of the Aurora and has been a fixture. I don't even remember how long we've known each other in the city of Lawrenceville. We've got Jason, whose family owns a restaurant here, and his beautiful wife, who came with him. And then we have Miss Mary Bryan, who works at the Give Center East, and her students fell in love with the program so much they also collected books and brought books to us. So if you have any questions, please let us know. This is truly a community event. We have partners throughout, and I would not have gotten the book exchanges if it had not been for the Barrack unit, which is the new veteran unit with the jail system, which is now one of my second homes, believe it or not, and going and working with the veterans. We have amazing citizens here, and with everyone's help, we can really impact our early learning initiative and so many other initiatives in Gwinnett County. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Katie. What a great opportunity to be able to partner with the coalition and Katie and with this great initiative for the county. At this time, I'm going to ask Mayor Steele to come up. I'm going to introduce him, and he's got some special recognitions as well. His family runs deep here in Lawrenceville. He's 4th generations in Lawrenceville. His great-grandfather was chief of police. His grandfather was on city council. He's been involved here in the city since 2006 on volunteer boards. He ran unopposed of city council, and then he also ran unopposed for mayor. The guy needs some competition, okay, an election. So if you would, please welcome Mayor Steele.
Well, thank y'all for coming. We very much appreciate it. I will make sure that we know that when I see y'all start to squirm, that we need to pick up the pace of the questions and everything, but we're so grateful that y'all are here and care about Lawrenceville and want to be engaged in it. At this time, speaking of roots that run deep, I would like our former Mayor Judy Jordan Johnson, if she could come forward just for a second, please. We're very appreciative that she came tonight. She has almost gotten worn out having to accept all the awards that she has been given as of late, and we appreciate her patience. But it wouldn't be right if the council and the city and the staff, we've all been very appreciative of all the work that the mayor has done over all these many years. I've known her for quite some time, and her roots do go deep. She was, as you know, about her father was mayor. But one neat thing you might not know is that she was in my dad's choir at First Baptist Church years ago. So we had that connection. So she had to put up with me even when I was a little kid. So, but we would like to present this honor. Or rather, this award. There you go. It says, Lawrenceville, Georgia, presented to Judy Jordan Johnson in appreciation of 9 years of outstanding service and dedication to the city of Lawrenceville, December 31st, 2019. So thank you so much for your time as mayor. Appreciate it. I got to stay there just for a second. So now I'm going to ask if Chairman Nash would please come up. We have something we would like to give to both of them and honor both of them. So they go back a long ways too. They're great friends. Would you like to say something real quickly?
First of all, I want to take a moment of personal privilege. Some of you may know that the Gwinnett Chamber lost a staff member this weekend. And Misty was someone that was my good friend. And our connection was that I would always put on my calendar every month when we had on topic or chamber lunches or breakfasts or meetings, but I wouldn't register because I didn't want to waste the city's money if I could not attend. So Misty would always call me the day before and say, "Are we a good go tomorrow?" And I said, "We're a good go." So I'm appreciative of the award that you have given me tonight, but I want to dedicate this to Misty and ask that you bow with me in a moment of silence for just a minute. Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you. So one little thing is what we would like to do is with the exchange boxes in the back, the libraries, we want to honor each of you by putting one at the Jordan Middle School in your honor with a plaque on it. And Chairman Nash, we're going to put one in Bicentennial Plaza for you. And then we'll have 2 other locations as well we're putting out. And I do want to say one quick thing when we're talking about Deep Roots. Chairman Nash used to write a column for the newspaper that my dad, years ago back when she was in high school for Tequila High School. So.
That's my deep, dark secret. I was a journalist.
But thank you very much for both coming and letting us honor y'all by putting these libraries out for y'all. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks so much, and I'm just excited that the city of Lawrenceville is going to be the first adopters of the reading boxes, and I'm sure there are going to be others that are going to race to follow your lead. Thanks a bunch.
Thanks.
Let me give you your box.
While Mayor Steele is making himself comfortable, I'm going to ask Nick Messino to come up. Nick Messino joined the chamber in 2007 and has really driven economic development and bringing jobs into this county since 2007. Last year, he was named the president and CEO of the chamber in 2019, and we're honored to have him to moderate our fireside chat. And at this time, we're going to have a video that outlines some special things that happened last year as they get situated and around the fire to get ready for the fireside chat. So please take your attention to the screen.
The city of Lawrenceville has grown a lot. It feels like every time I come back, there's always a new building or a new restaurant. The city of Lawrenceville has grown a lot. It feels like every time I come back, there's always a new building or a new restaurant, but it's really exciting to see because it's a great city. Every year it's just growing bigger.
It just continues to expand on the growth that Lawrenceville has had over the last 2 decades.
The amount of building around just downtown, things they've restored, rebuilt, it's been pretty cool to see.
Local businesses are our heartbeat.
We've really seen the city come together. We've seen a lot of growth down here from businesses.
If you look at the square,
It's all local family-owned businesses, and the effort they put into making those businesses successful is why I chose to be here and put the money that I did in a local business here in the city of Lawrenceville.
The downtown is really popping off with the restaurants and everything.
There's a lot of positive things going on in the city. The future is certainly vibrant, and we're excited to be a part of that.
It's projects like this that really make a walkable, welcoming community for people to spend time in.
It's just outstanding to see everybody come together and really make an awesome community and make Lawrenceville their home.
It's an exciting time to be in Lawrenceville. It's just exploding. The future is filled with possibilities.
Well, thank you for that video. Everyone, hello, I'm Nick Messino, and as Chuck said, I'm the president and CEO of the Gwinnett Chamber. So if I could go a little off script, Mayor Judy Jordan Johnson, thank you so much about the kind words about Misty. It was a tragic loss and shock to all of us Saturday morning when we heard the news. And Misty was 39 years old, had just turned 39, leaves a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old with her husband. And there is a GoFundMe page, and you can access it if you're interested through the chamber website and all over social media. And so she has young children. Her husband's a firefighter up in Hall County, and they need any support you can give them. So, Mayor, thank you for bringing that up. The only concerning thing I learned is that you've been having free lunches and dinners at the chamber for 9 years. That's concerning. And Mayor Still, that party's over.
Been cut off.
Yeah. And
she reported it, so.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, that's right. Well, she's not a lobbyist, so it's okay. All right. Well, we'll let that one slide. And then I think it was funny, Chuck just started talking, and we all knew it was Chuck Warbington. He doesn't even need to say Warbington, it's Chuck. And then he introduced himself, and we all knew who you were, Chuck. You don't need to introduce yourself, buddy, especially in Lawrenceville. You are Chuck. So thank you to the mayor, to the city, and to Chuck for having me be here tonight and to do this with the mayor. The mayor and I have something in common. I'm also a two-time unopposed elected official. And I'll share a personal story. My first State of the City was a total disaster train wreck. This is already 100 times better. My staff gave me a script, and they asked me to read it. And it was 30 minutes I was sweating profusely. It was horrible. And after the city manager called me later that night, and he said, I think we're just going to do a PowerPoint presentation, and you're just going to talk about what's on the slides. And I've done that for the last 30 years, but I am somewhat scripted tonight, but I think I'm going to do better. I have 20 years worth of experience. So I appreciate it. If Chuck would have known that, he would have never asked me. But my next 7 State of the Cities were awesome. And speaking of state of whatever, Charlotte Nash just did an incredible State of the County last week. It was awesome. She set a vision. And it was really awesome. So let me say this, I'm excited to be here. I love Lawrenceville, I love Gwinnett County. I lived in Gwinnett County for 25 years. My nephew literally lives just off the square. He's lived here for years, and as a local performer, he's at Slow Pour on a regular basis. Max Eve is his name. If you know Max, oh, thanks, yeah, Max Eve, yeah, my nephew. And speaking of Slow Pour, I'm really excited to share, and I don't know that this has ever happened, and Chairman Nash is the county historian, she'll tell me, but I see 3 of my board members in the audience at the Gwinnett Chamber. We are actually going to have, Chuck, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, Chuck knows everything. We're going to have our board meeting, our March board meeting at the Aurora. Thank you, Anthony. And then we're going to march on down to 550 Trackside, and we're going to have, this is for our Chairman's Club members, and we're going to have an oyster roast right here. And then we'll be back in Lawrenceville. The Chamber will have our business after hours at Slow Pour in May. So we're really excited, and we love what's happening here, and I'm absolutely honored. So, well, Mayor, I'm done, but now I have to ask you some questions.
Sounds good. Go
okay. So Chuck mentioned your deep roots. I think you reviewed a couple of them, but for the one person in the audience, I don't know who it is, that doesn't know that your deep roots in Lawrenceville, why don't you share those with us?
Well, real quickly, I'm a graduate of Lawrenceville Elementary School, Lawrenceville Middle School, and Central Gwinnett High School. My father and I used to own what now is called the Gwinnett Daily Post newspaper. And
It was so good, we want to see it again.
that's right.
It was awesome. Mayor, you were doing great. Don't take that as a sign.
Yep. Well, the staff's been really concerned. You okay? You good with this? I said, I'm good. I think I'm good. But
They're just testing you.
Yeah,
They're
getting
testing
tested.
you.
So,
I give them a signal and they'll just start playing it
Let's
again.
start playing again. But we sold the paper to Great Communication in 1994, and but that activity, Dad was part of the group that started the Gwinnett Daily News. So from 1960 on, been active in having another opportunity to serve the community, and my wife and my son and my sister currently work with the Board of Education with the Gwinnett County Schools, so they've been active. My mother used to be with, she taught at Lawrenceville Elementary School and some others in Norcross. We just want to keep it at Lawrenceville. But so I went to school when my aunt and my mother both taught there. So that was a little difficult too. I never could do anything wrong. But anyway, and then Vicki and I have raised our children always with a Lawrenceville address. We've been married 36 years, and we attend First United Methodist Church. And my pastor is here, I saw, so I'll have to make sure to, do everything just right. So.
Awesome. So obviously, as Chuck said, deep roots. But you're no stranger to the council either, or to the city per se, and the council. You've been involved, engaged. I brag about you and have for a while that you're one of the folks that have been making things happen in Lawrenceville. So tell us a little bit about what your involvement has been at the city level.
Well, in 2003, I was working on the private sector and got engaged in a special project to work with a developer in Morrisburger, and actually got to be a part of the master plan that the city created. So that started in 2003. Then from 2006 to 2011, I was on the Tourism and Trade Board for the city. 2012, 2019, I served on the Downtown Development Authority, where I was chair for 4 years, and that's you're chosen by your peers. Then from 2015 to 2019, I was elected to City Council, and have just been elected to the as mayor. I'm a founding board member of the nonprofit Impact 46, and one of the key things that really changed why we came. I lived in Lawrenceville, had a Lawrenceville address all our life, but born here, raised here. Vicki and I were here for our first 10 years of marriage. But then, like the Israelites, we wandered in the desert near Dacula for 20 years. And
you were lost.
I was lost.
You were lost in the desert, yes.
Yeah, but we always worked in downtown Lawrenceville during that time. Then we moved back because I read.
You found the light.
I found the light.
Yes.
Read a book called Toxic Charity that Alan Hoskins gave to me. Actually, he made me go buy it, but anyway, it's called Toxic Charity by Bob Lupton, and it says if you want to change a community, you have to live in it. So we eventually moved back, and we've been here close to 7 years now. So that was a big event, and never had any interest in being on city council or being on mayor. It's just the way things worked out. And but we're just really focused on trying to create a healthier Lawrenceville. That's the only goal.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for serving. It takes it's a big commitment, personally, professionally, and so thank you for doing it. I know the citizens of Lawrenceville appreciate it. And so I have a trivia question.
Okay.
Mayor, so you've had 2 elections and you've ran unopposed twice. So legally, in the state of Georgia, how many people have voted for you?
Technically, the last election, I got 4 votes less than Victoria Jones. So I got 600 or something on that because I had to be put on the ballot. But technically, the first election, I only needed 1 vote.
You only needed 1 vote. Okay, explain that to me. In the second election, you had people voting for you, but you ran unopposed.
We were put on the ballot, but only 1 person had to vote, and then they didn't. They quit counting, but somehow they did count. So.
Okay, so all right, so you ruined my trivia question.
Yeah.
You were right. The state law says if you run unopposed, 1 person has to vote for you. and they're assuming since you qualified, you would have voted for yourself.
Correct.
Yeah, so you voted for yourself twice and won. Congratulations. And I only do that because that's a trivia question I used to give to Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. So great job. You passed the trivia question. Okay, so Mayor, I am told that in the slides behind me, we are going to see incredible facts and figures about the city. And I was hoping you could share with us, as these happen behind us, that you can give us some insights about what's going on in the city. There's so much going on.
Yep, there are a lot of things. So this is facts to know, and basically there's some things that you typically would not know. Most people don't know that we're the 16th largest municipal gas supplier in the nation. We have the 3rd largest budget in the Atlanta metro area. There's Atlanta, Marietta, and then the city of Lawrenceville. And we're also one of the oldest cities. Only Atlanta comes before us. And those are some of the neat facts that people don't realize about Lawrenceville. But we won't go into about, city was formed because of Five Springs and so forth and so on. So there's a lot of neat history in Lawrenceville.
It's very cool. Very impressive. You have more letters and more vowels than any other cities in Georgia.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. You agree with me?
Well, it's pretty
I just
well.
made that up.
Yeah.
But I believe if you say, as a mayor, I'm just trying to do you some mayoral training.
Okay, thank you.
If you say it with
I need all the help
confidence,
I can get.
you just say it with confidence.
They will believe
It's
it.
their job to fact check you. More vowels than any other city, at least in Lawrenceville.
Okay. All right. I believe you. Sure.
Okay. All right. Good job, Mayor. I'll keep going. Okay. So it's incredible everything that's happening in the city, and you obviously you can't. None of us can do anything alone, and the city has done such a great job with partnerships. And there's so many incredible anchor institutions that call Lawrenceville home, that have that incredible address of Lawrenceville. You want to talk about that?
Well, how about we talk about the operations?
Oh, so we're on slide 4. Sorry, I apologize. I don't see the slides. So, Mayor, let's talk about the operations and then the community.
This is pretty neat. If y'all can see this, first of all, we're 33 million up, even though we've had a few people say, "Man, you're out there spending a lot of money," but it's working, and we're so physically sound, and we have Keith Lee does a great job with our finances. And so that's something really important to recognize how sound your city is. Also, we've been upgraded with Standards & Poor, and that was a big event. And I think within the next year or two, we understand the other agency will be upgrading us, and so we're really pleased with that because they've worked really hard to keep moving our financials to a higher level. So we've Keith and his staff just won an award. So it's pretty cool.
You're spending money, but you're investing in the right places.
Correct.
And believe me, Standard & Poor's or Fitch or whoever, they don't take any of that lightly.
Right.
So what a great sign that you guys are investing in the right places.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mayor, let's talk about the community. Slide 5.
Well, it's pretty neat that the median income continues to go up. We're still got some work to do on that, and that's part of our vision, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But it's really neat that our digest is going up 36%, and also, like I said, the median family income is going up, and we're only up to 42,000. Gwinnett is 65,000. Swanee is at 90,000. So we got some work to do. He lives in Swanee.
Oh, yes.
So those are some initiatives we'll be working on to move that up. Okay.
Nice job. Hey, that leads me to the next question. So many great partnerships here in the city with the anchor institutions.
We have them.
We're back on track.
We are.
Yeah. I'm glad the PowerPoint caught up with me.
And just so that y'all know, so when I was born in 61, there were 30,000 people in Gwinnett County. So we got 1 million now. It's changed just a little bit. And I'm not that old. I have to say that sometimes not all the partnerships with Lawrenceville have been copacetic and everybody kumbaya and working well together. But since Mayor Johnson got in in office as mayor. And since then, there has been a continual effort by the council and the mayor to improve our relationships with everybody. And as you can see, we have Chairman Nash and our former mayor sitting side by side, and they had a great relationship. We have a great relationship with the county and with the college and with the Chamber of Commerce. And so this is a great time, and having our hospital and having our the Aurora Theater, met Anthony and Ann Carroll back in 2003, I think it was. I went to see Chicago, and they put on a great show, and so we stole them from Duluth. So, but we have great, and this type of teamwork together is what makes a great community. So it doesn't take just one group.
You all, previous administration, current administration, staff and elected officials do a great job of connecting. I don't know if I attended a county 2:00 meeting that I didn't see the mayor there. I had dinner with the college president, Dr. Jan Joseph, Thursday night, and she bragged about what was happening in Lawrenceville. I serve on the foundation board at the hospital, and they are so happy to call Gwinnett home. I'm sorry, Lawrenceville home and Gwinnett. But it's just everyone, there's just an excitement of what's going on by all of these partner institutions.
Right. There's big things happening with each one of them, and we're all working together to amplify that.
Yeah, great term. It is amplifying. It's very, very exciting. So Mayor, you continue to talk about, and I continue to hear you talking about partnerships, local businesses, residents, faith-based communities, and how it's critical to do everything that you all are doing and to create an economic, vibrant community. Tell me about that, and what are you referring to when you talk about those things?
Well, we want people to get out of their silos, and I don't want to be critical, but we can all get sort of focused on our own organization. So we need to all work together. So we have great residential neighborhoods where Lawrenceville Neighborhood Alliance is working to bring the various HOAs together. We're working to make sure that, like our one initiative we have now is the Lawrenceville Development Authority. We've reinvigorated that group so that we can create, for instance, grants. And we're working with DCA on that and Lawrenceville Housing Authority to where we can give grants to people to improve their homes so we can continue to raise the ship up, not just in downtown Lawrenceville, but outside in our neighborhoods, working to try to find ways to bring together our faith-based organizations. You know, we have so many churches that are active here, and probably like no one knows that we have a church that's most of their organization, their congregates came from Ghana. And they're here in Lawrenceville, and they're very active and great people. And so those are the type of groups we've got to continue to get involved in the government and working together so that it's Lawrenceville and not just the government can sort of initiate something, but then the rest of these work together and really take it
public,
forward.
private,
Right.
Nonprofit, faith. Yes,
right. In the small business, it's a key thing.
As the chamber president, I agree with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
As one being an entrepreneur all my life, I agree with that too. So.
Well, Mayor, thank you for sharing that. Again, you all are doing a great job of bringing people together, and it shows in many of your efforts. But if we moved, and I think, if I'm not mistaken.
We're going to stay on slide 10 because I just realized I'm going to look at my notes now. A couple of things that are going on with the small businesses.
This was not produced by the Aurora Theater.
Don't laugh. I see Anthony laughing right there.
He was laughing before I said it.
Okay, yeah. But we have some really neat things going on in Lawrenceville with small businesses. We have the Gwinnett County has their small business incubator that they are starting up on Perry Street. We have Cornerstone with their co-working space. We have we're looking, been talking with the Chamber and Partnership Gwinnett and trying to bring high biotech jobs to the 316 corridor so that we can increase there. And we're looking to, I know there's a lot of internships that are happening with the hospital and with GGC and the Gwinnett Tech and also PCOM Georgia. And the interns, when they...
It's so hard to say that.
I know it is.
I want to call them PCOM so bad, but they don't like that.
Yes. But the interns, once they go, that they will typically live around wherever they go to school. So we're working to try to create an environment and a buzz that they want to stay here. So we're working diligently on that. And we've got, of course, all sorts of local restaurants that continue to move into downtown Lawrenceville. We have a Cuban restaurant that's in the midst of trying to work hard. So y'all can get ready for that. So.
Muy bien.
So now slide 11.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, if I'm reading my notes correctly, there would be a video that would be playing?
Well, not yet. First, I want to recognize and have them stand up, and I'm going to do my best to get their names right. But we have the two individuals from a company called Rig. Thank you. And so we have with us tonight, we have Tom Paxi-Siham, close enough, and then also Connie Nava, and they are, can y'all stand up so everybody can see y'all? Thank y'all very much for coming. So I want to give a little information about this company because you probably have no idea they're here. So they're a 170-year-old company. They have 100 staff members. 22 live in the city limits of Lawrenceville, and they are the city's second largest consumer of electricity, so we really love you. Appreciate that. They opened in 1973 here in Lawrenceville, and they produce pallets and waste and recycling containers and supply chain solutions. So, and thank y'all very much for all that you're doing, and now we can see a great video.
Rarig is really unique. It is a 107-year-old, fourth-generation family-owned company. We have a local footprint here in the city of Lawrenceville. So there's 22 people that are city of Lawrenceville residents. For these people here at the manufacturing facility to see their hometown stamp on these carts is really cool.
The city issued a competitive bid process last year, and Rarig was the winning bid. They had the lowest price. We were also excited to know that they were in the city limits of Lawrenceville. Being in our backyard, they were able to do delivery there without a lot of extra expenses.
The product that we're making for the city of Lawrenceville, I really feel pride in being able to be a part of this rollout.
These new cards will be consistent throughout the community. Every resident will have one. A lot of the businesses will have one.
We just became more and more entrenched and more in love with this project, knowing the local impact that we were going to have with it.
At the end of the day, it's about taking care of our families and being safe while we're doing it.
I'm excited to have these new cans in the city. It's going to help keep the trash off the streets, and it makes it a lot easier on our sanitation workers, prevents injuries, and provides a lot of efficiency on our end. We've heard from our employees. They're very excited for this project. They're looking forward to getting it implemented. We've heard similar response from our citizens as well.
We're pumped up about it, and it's cool to keep everything local. Just the sweat equity of the people here pouring their heart and soul into the products that are going into their backyard. It's awesome.
Those are some good-looking trash cans. So, Mayor, a lot of projects, a lot of dirt being moved in the city. It's very impressive. And I know that we have 16 great municipalities in Gwinnett County and Gwinnett County itself. And I think anybody would be excited with one of these projects, but you have quite a few.
We do. And it's been it's been a lot of fun to be a part of. I know the council feels the same way. We just, when the Downtown Development Authority comes up, and Lee Merritt couldn't be here tonight, but she's the chair, and she and her team are doing a fabulous job for us. And there's been so many times with, being on the council, we look at each other and go, wow, what great news, about one more developer coming in, getting excited, where we get somebody interested in and tell the story, and then they want to do a $200 million, development, and clean up a landfill all at the same time, which is really nice. But we've had, so that's the South Lawn. It's going to have 400 apartments, 170 detached and townhome product there we have retail coming in and all sorts of neat business, couple of neat businesses. Peachtree Cafe reopened for those of y'all that are, love them. We have the City View. That was the first project.
Mayor, hold on. Can we go back to the retail?
Sure.
Can you give us some insight that no one else knows about some retail?
Oh, you mean what was in the newspaper about Uncle Jack's Tavern coming in?
So you know about that. It's out on the streets.
It's on the
social media.
Yeah, so that's going to be at the other end. So there's Peachtree Cafe, and if you continue down Clayton Street at the other end, where there is a not pavilion, but a patio. Mm-hmm. That's where they will be located there, and so so we're real excited about that. And
have you met the owner?
I have not, but I've heard a lot about him. So.
Lawrenceville, watch out. He's a lot of fun. It's going to be a great restaurant.
I hear he's from New York.
He is from New York. I only understand about every 4 words. Says the guy from the north.
So we're really excited about that and other things that are coming there. We just, as y'all know, we moved the what were called the projects, for a lack of a better word, that were built in the 1950s, 1960s, the public housing. Now that the city's put about a $7 million investment into these really cool townhomes that you drive by and not even know that is subsidized housing. And so we have that in another part of the town. And so I'm not going to tell you exactly where, because I'll make a guess where it is, because you'll never know when you drive by.
Because it looks so good.
Because it looks so good.
You would have no idea, right?
And that closed this week, and now they'll start the second phase, and then we'll be also working with the county on the on the museum, having a historic black museum that will be part of Hooper Renwick School, the original building, and that will be attached to the library. So the committee is working hard diligently on that and getting ready to go do a tour and try to see what other museums look like and what they're doing. So we're really excited about that and how that has worked, and that fluid process of working with the community and listening has really paid off and made the city richer to keep that building there. We also have the Cultural Arts Center that's being expanded. It's a little over 31 million. Anthony might have liked it to be 300 million, but anyway, he's happy with it.
There'll be 300 million visitors.
But that's going to have an additional 500-seat, theater, and so it's going to allow them to be able to do music events, musicals, as opposed to just having what they have now, the 250-seat. The 250-seat will still be active. They also have the cabaret theater and another black box, and so educational space. And so that's just going to be a really neat event that'll open late 2020. And then we have the Lawrence. It's a hotel, and also have a parking deck and a conference center. There'll be 120 rooms in the hotel, and it'll be a higher-end Hilton boutique hotel. So there's only 4 of them in the nation, and this will be obviously a new build since there's nothing there now. They'll have 380 parking spaces, a 5,000 square foot conference center. So it'll be a perfect place to, for instance, all these weddings that happen at the courthouse, the historic courthouse people can be right next door at the hotel, and they'll have a great restaurant as well. And so that's hopefully will be completed in summer of 2021, the parking deck in winter of 2020.
Is the parking deck on site with the hotel?
Yes, it's all connected. So that will be one lovely, a major condo for our city attorney to help figure out all the legal mumbo jumbo with the hotel and the parking deck. So we got creative on that. It'll also have some retail space.
Okay, and will it be city parking for people not staying in the hotel, or strictly be?
Yeah, city parking.
So
yes,
you're planning ahead for this growth.
Correct.
It's amazing.
Right.
I think I just nailed one of the questions that I'd already been asked. Check on the parking.
Check on the parking.
By the way, if
yes.
you have parking problems in your city, what does that mean?
It means that we have a great, vibrant city to come visit.
People want to be there. They want to be downtown.
Right.
That's a great problem to have.
And we are looking at other...
No one likes that answer, but it's the truth.
Yeah. We're looking at other opportunities for parking, but, making sure that there's always, we don't overbuild parking. So because you need that space for retail.
Yeah, parking doesn't pay great taxes either.
Right. No.
So you can continue to increase
That's right.
your Fitch rating. Any other projects, Mayor, you want to mention?
Well, one that we started working with the Board of Education back in 2014 on, it's a school within a school. We're going to have the School of Fine Arts, and to use layman, it'll be at Central Gwinnett High School, and it'll be a school where other students from around the county will go to this school, just like, say, the math and science. It will also, so we're hoping that as this program grows, it'll be the cream of the crop of all the fine arts and performing arts students in Gwinnett County will be here. It's a $30 million project, and it's the first project ever where a municipality has put money into, so we're putting $5 million into that project, cash. And so that's the first time a municipality has done that. But we did that to encourage and incentivize the Board of Education to make that investment and put that fine arts school here as opposed to somewhere else. With the concept is that people will, when their children go there, they'll want to move here and live here. And so that's the goal that we're working on there. So we couldn't be more excited about that. That completion date's August 2021. And so that will be on the campus, and it's a 50,000 square foot addition. So it's a lot of square footage going into that.
It's incredible,
Yeah.
the art culture that exists and is growing here, right here in Lawrenceville.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's awesome, Mayor. Mayor, so vision is important to you. I've heard you talk about it. You always are talking about building community, and would love to just hear what your thoughts are about building community. I mean, I think we've heard a lot already, and this is all clearly, all these things are moving towards that effort. And if I'm not off script.
No, you're good.
Okay,
You're good.
great.
I'm just making sure I'm on the same screen.
But I'd love to get your thoughts and ideas about building community, your vision for that.
Well, what it's really about, and to build a community, it's all about relationships, and that takes time, and you have to be take initiative to do that with people, and not just go into your house and roll into your garage and shut the garage. So Vicki and I moved back into a neighborhood in Forest Hills 7 years ago. We have a carport. We do not have a garage, so we have to keep it clean. And everybody gets to see us when we're walking out of the house, and we say hi a gazillion times. It's sort of neat. So I enjoy it, other than having the cold seats when you get in the car. It's great. But so one of the key points that from Vision, and I know that the council, shares this because we work together as a team. One of the things I really believe in, I know we're not always going to vote exactly the same, but we all want to sort of try to make sure that we understand each other and we're listening to each other, and I try to build consensus. And most of the time that happens, sometimes not, but that's still good. That's healthy, because as I was told moving in, no one on the council was my boss. We each have one vote. And the mayor's the same way. Here we have a city manager type of government, so I have one vote just like the city council. And so I have to listen carefully because I'm the spokesperson for the council, and I have to understand what they're saying. And so that when I project vision, it is our vision and not just my vision. But so one of the building community and having a thriving community is working to have those relationships so people can truly live, work, and play. So that, as Teresa Bailey mentioned one time when she was talking about going to school at Hooper Renwick, she didn't know when she was at school or at church or at home, because everybody knew everybody, and it was just community. And that's what we want to, so that's one of the number one things is to build community.
That's awesome. And what the fabric of Lawrenceville already, where I feel like the stories when I hear people that were born and raised here in your story, I feel like that's been part of Lawrenceville for a long time. And it sounds like your focus on that, you're going to keep that for a long time to come.
I want to get back to the day, because this happened to me. My father told me not to ride a bicycle on Jackson Street. I did with Joe Archer, and somebody saw us riding our bikes. They called my grandmother called my dad. And so when I got picked up, it wasn't a nice day for me.
Somebody had to get a switch.
Right.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we want, that's I want everybody to know everybody, you know, and working and building relationships. And I know you can't know everybody in 30,000, but we can get close, because I was so wanting to do that when that place opened. Vicki and I went to that, and this was, I forgot when they opened. It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I looked around and I told Vicki, I looked around and I told Vicki, I said, I don't know everybody. And she goes, well, you can't know everybody now. I said, but I want to try anyway. So that's what I want our community to do, is try.
That's awesome. So Mayor, obviously you all you've been working on these initiatives, your involvement for a decade. What can we expect from you and the council? What are your specific initiatives moving forward?
Well, one is building community where people can live, work, play. And that's what this screen shows here. And the second one is to create we don't have a river. We're not Columbus, we're not Savannah, but fine arts will be our river. And so we'll take people from kindergarten all the way to professional performing arts at the Aurora. So with the school within the school, when you do that program, the school system has to dive into the middle school and to the elementary schools. So they'll be working with performing arts and fine arts in the school system. Then we're working hard to get the Board of Regents to push hard into the fine arts and performing arts and all the digital stuff that goes along with all that now. So then they can move to college, and then the Aurora can hire them all. So that's the whole plan. But so basically, fine arts is going to be our river.
Awesome. Great initiative.
Yeah.
And what else?
And then the third is looking to bring in higher paying jobs, which I've sort of already alluded to. And with the higher paying jobs, then I can bring up our median income. And then we're working to have quality housing at all socioeconomic levels. And we're going to be working with a group. I did an ad hoc group pulled together, sort of happened by happen chance. But I had builders that do workforce housing. I had builders that do executive housing. I had builders that were focused on Habitat for Humanity. I had people that were community development individuals. And the Lawrenceville Housing Authority, which is a developer, by the way. That's what Layla does. She's the executive director. To get them all out of their silos and try to work together. And the next is to bring in an attorney so that when he reads the code, that our zoning codes that the city has built, they can poke holes in and make sure it's going to give us a healthy community that we're looking for. So those are some of the initiatives that we're looking for. And part of with the higher paying jobs, it's also in having quality housing is really critical. And I learned this from the homeless czar for the county. So Matt was talking about if you put workforce housing in the wrong place and you don't have transportation and you don't have jobs, it will become a slum. And so we have to be very intentional about where we put housing and where we put jobs and where we work with the county in trying to have transportation. It's a high bar for us to all work for, but it's what will make a really cool place to live.
Well, Mayor, I agree exactly. It already is a very cool place to live, work and play, and you're just taking it to the next level. And I know all the citizens here appreciate that. We are going to transition to questions from the audience, and I know that you all have been on your apps. Or at least 7 of you have been. And I want to remind you, this is a really cool tool if we in fact use it. And you can read a question, like the question, and you can vote for it, and it'll push up to the top of the list. So I have about, now probably about 10 to 12 questions, but people aren't voting for them. So I'm just going to go through what I like, unless you vote for them. Mayor, I'm going to give you one that I kind of think we already touched on, but I think with all the exciting things that are happening in Lawrenceville, can you expound upon what your plans are for parking? Obviously, you're going to build a deck with the new hotel. It's going to be shared with multiple uses. Anything else you want to add?
To the parking.
You can just wing it, Mayor.
Well, I can. Say it one more time.
Sure. Parking.
Parking. Okay. What are we going to do about parking?
Yes, according to...
That's one of the questions. Okay. Well...
So you're building the hotel's going to have a parking deck.
Right, and we're looking for
You've got the
additional
parking deck next to the Aurora.
Right, for instance, we're looking, if we can get the federal government to move faster, we're looking to try to move the post office, put in parking there, and then also an office above is the concept. We have several developers that want to build there. We're looking to expand some parking on the other side of Jackson Street, possibly next to Little Red Barn is one idea we're looking at. And we're looking at other places when someone brings in a development, how we can develop, put parking in there, and not just all necessarily surface parking. But we're also going to be encouraging people to find ways to share their parking. Also trying to encourage people to get out of their cars or carpool. I think that's a critical thing we have to do, change some of our habits a little bit. So that's what we're going to be looking to do. We just can't park right in front of the store.
You're saying we have to walk a block or two?
Yeah. Except for my
That's
mother,
unacceptable,
everybody
Mayor.
else is going to have to walk. So.
It really is. I've been here for morning meetings in the city, lunchtime all the time, lots of dinner and evening events, and I've never had to walk more than a block or two. And any of us can do that.
Well, there's 75 parking spaces, right behind what's called the laundry, and most people never park there. They never see it. I have told people about it when I'm in the parking lot behind my office, which is off of Pike Street, and I've told people about the parking, and they keep driving around hoping someone will
Am
leave.
I allowed to park there and then walk over to another restaurant, like
Yes.
Local Republic?
Right, that's all public parking.
Oh, I thought I was being sneaky.
Right.
Okay, I'm allowed to do that. Okay.
And just up the street, the city is improving that. It hasn't been striped yet, but our city manager was able to get people pushed forward to get that paved so y'all could park there tonight. And so that's
right across the street.
from Slowport.
Okay,
so that's
great.
that's all public parking.
Awesome.
There. So
Well, we should say it's just for the people that attended tonight.
right.
It's a VIP.
Yeah.
Okay, just mention Chuck and that you won't be charged. Okay, oh, look at that. People are voting. That's amazing. But hey, Mayor, I've got a question.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, there's some great strides with code enforcement. People are really talking about that. That's exciting. There's much more to do, Mayor. This is just off the cuff, clearly, just totally off the cuff. What new plans or initiatives can we expect from the city related to code enforcement?
Well, we've been working on that, and a lot of it has to do with education. And I think that would be a great question, because it's one of the harder questions, to go to Councilmember Keith Roche. He has spearheaded that, and so if
Keith Roche, oh my gosh. This is so off the cuff.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. I appreciate that. Code enforcement is kind of a hot topic. People, they hate it when they do their job, and they hate it when they don't do their job. If you get a citation from a code enforcement officer, you're mad. If he doesn't come out quickly enough, you're mad. So I want to, there's an old saying that success is a game of inches. It's not doing one thing 1,000% better, it's doing 1,000 things 1% better. And I think about that when I think about code enforcement, because it has been a game of inches. It's something that is incredibly crucial to our long-term growth. All the people who are working, for example, at that hospital, all the people who are working at GJAC and the college, all those 80,000 people that the folks at the Aurora bring into our city, we'd like for them to live here. But we've got to get our neighborhoods up to par, up to where we can be competitive with the other communities. Code enforcement has gone through a number of iterations. I'm going to just take about 1 minute, if I can, and kind of tell you what these guys have gone through and how deliberate the councils have been to correct our problem. Then I'll tell you what is in our immediate future. Before I got on council, there was not too many years ago, there was one code enforcement officer for the entire city. So that kind of explains why we got where we were and when things were looking pretty rough. The council that was before I came on, which was Mr. Clark, and Mayor Johnson, Marie Beiser, P.K. Martin, and Tony Powell, decided to get serious about code enforcement. And so they took code enforcement and put it with the police department. 4 officers. So from 1 code enforcement officer to 4 police officers. That wasn't their only job, but that was their responsibility, was code enforcement. And guess what? When those guys got busy, the needle moved. It went up. So couple years later, when I got on council, we decided to bring it back to the planning department, and we contracted with Clark Patterson Lee to furnish the officers. These guys were trained, they hit the ground running, did primarily commercial, multifamily, and industrial areas. What happened again? That needle moved. It's a game of inches. So just a couple of years ago, we decided to bring it back in-house, and we have 6 code enforcement officers who are out there every day. And is Todd here? You gave me a number earlier what the number of open cases were and what they are today. Can you repeat that? So from 800 to around 100. So that means 2 things are happening. Number one, that people are being educated, which Mayor Still alluded to, and I'm going to talk about in just a second. And secondly, those guys are out there working, and we're getting the city cleaned up. It's a massive project because we have about 30% of our residential single-family housing is rental, and those are always tough in terms of code enforcement. So what's on the future? What are some of the things we've done and that we're getting ready to do? We've done a good job, our code enforcement officers have, with regards to the commercial, industrial, and multifamily. Still a lot of work to be done, but they've made a lot of headway there. So we're going to get back to focusing on the neighborhoods. We're looking at having neighborhood blitzes. We're looking at after-hours code enforcement, including weekends, which is incredibly important to us. And one of the things that I think has always been important is that we have to go in, I hope our officers, and I know they are, go in as a doctor, not a judge. Because I am convinced, and always have been convinced, that the majority of the problems that we have with code enforcement is people don't know what they're supposed to do. A lot of people don't know you're not supposed to park on the grass. A lot of people don't know that you can't have an automobile sitting in your driveway that is not roadworthy. It's called junk. The county told me one time that you could have a brand new Rolls Royce sitting in that driveway, and if it wasn't licensed and insured, in their mind it was junk. So, and those are those nuances that a lot of people don't know. So the biggest challenge we've got, and what I'm really looking forward to, is, and I know that we've got a great marketing group that can come up with, how do we educate the citizens? How do we bring them on board so they know what the rules are and what's expected? Because there is that old saying that a rising tide raises all ships. If we clean up those neighborhoods, all those people who work at GJAC, those people at the hospital, those people at the college, and those 80,000 people that the Aurora folks bring in every year, hopefully will decide, why don't I just live here? But we've got to get those neighborhoods cleaned up. So,
Keith, appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Councilmember. What an incredible, detailed answer for just a random question that you didn't know it was coming. That was amazing. Yes. Aren't we all? So actually, it's interesting, as there's 2 questions on here that are actually, if I'm reading this properly, the vote, there's one 8 votes, the other one 6 votes. It's really kind of the same question. Mayor, is there an update on the College Corridor project? And the other question is, can you expand on what's going on to connect GGC and downtown Lawrenceville, which sounds like that's obviously a very popular topic. So tell us what's going on. What's this College Corridor all about?
Well, that's
college. What college?
It's a $30 million project, and it is basically Northdale Road is staying the same, but it's going to go starting with a roundabout at the just past the depot, and then it will. If you drive out there, you will see that it just arcs out into the woods, as it would seem.
So, Mayor, you're talking. So let's say I live in Swanee and I don't know where Hilldale is.
Okay.
So right out the door here, to the right.
Correct. Yeah, you go up the street and then
Depot's right there.
It will slowly bend to the left.
So I actually do know where Hilldale is, but they basically you've bought up a bunch of property. I see this swath going through there.
Right.
That's going to be my new way to get to GGC.
That's right. It'll
The
be
fastest growing four-year college in the United States.
That's right.
The most diverse college in the Southeast United
And
States.
you can get there by using car or bicycle or, whatever.
What
walk,
about,
stroll,
is
run.
it legal to have an electric motor scooter for me to go from Lawrenceville Square all the way to GGC?
It is.
Because Anthony wants to know.
Yeah, there is a moratorium on that right now.
There is? That was one of our questions. I had no idea.
We're trying to work to figure out to be ahead of the curve.
Mayor, can I rollerblade?
Yeah.
Could you imagine getting on that hill and then I could move? I want to see Chuck Worthington do that.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
But, and so there will be a lot of new development along that as well. So residential and possibly some commercial. Downtown Development Authority is in charge because the city bought up all those properties. And we didn't have to, there was no condemnation. It was all bought. And so now it'll be the DDA's responsibility to be in charge of the development on that. So it'll be, and we're working with the GGC to where they can have transportation coming from there to the city, see what the city can do. We're just brainstorming right now because we want to be able to get the students from the campus down to downtown Lawrenceville. And where they'll first start off is what would be naturally is the entertainment area, this Depot District, which has 2 breweries and possibly soon to have a distillery. So, and also glass blowing facility. So we got a lot of neat things.
And so if I was going to walk or rollerblade from right here to GGC, that's less than a mile, right?
Well,
or just
it
out of a
depends
mile?
how much you've been drinking on slow pour. It's
Well, yeah.
2.2 miles. So.
Oh, it is? Oh,
Yeah,
it's that
yeah.
far. Okay,
Right,
I thought
right,
it was
right.
less than a mile. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, if you walk sober, it's 2.2.
Correct.
It's 4 miles on the way back.
Right.
As you weave on your electric scooter.
That's right. Uber's a great friend. So.
Uber, that's a good idea too. And let's keep a sober mind up here, Mayor. Okay. All right, so that's really exciting. And what are some time frames when I could literally walk from using what you just described from the square, from the Aurora to GGC's entrance? When can I do that?
Chuck, when can we do that?
Oh, Mayor, hold on, time out. Mayoral training, just make up a number. And then when it's not the right number, and then let's just say it's August of 2022, and then it doesn't happen, just blame it on staff.
Yeah.
You were given erroneous information.
It's for the end of 2020, I hope, so.
Oh my gosh, so ahead of the schedule.
Or 2021.
See, I just made you look like a rock star 2 years early.
Yeah.
Good job. I'm sorry, Mayor. He's
That's
like,
good.
never again.
I'm thinking, man, we have
never
that
again.
slide somewhere. Where did it go? So anyway.
So really, I can do that next summer, this summer. Early 2021, still ahead of my schedule of 2022.
There you go.
Okay, that's awesome. That's so exciting. And then the DDA is gonna partner with private developers and create housing along the way.
Right. And I will tell you all this, if you want to know, because it's up on the webpage now, but we have a list of all the projects and when they're coming due, and it's a good idea. You go to the webpage, you scroll down, you click on a link that says construction updates, click on that, and it will take you to a whole list of about 12 projects or 14 projects. And you can see when it's going to start and when it's going to end, including the hotel, all of them. And so that'll be there, and also the sidewalks. We have a list of all the sidewalks and when all that's going to be done. So
That's incredible.
there you go.
Okay, just off the cuff, I have another question I just thought of. As the city continues to grow and develop externally, how does the city envision implementing additional resources needed to continue to provide services at the incredible high service levels we receive now here in the city of Lawrenceville? This is just off the cuff.
Off the cuff.
Just thought of that one.
You know, we all have different skill sets on the council, and I think this would be an excellent question for Council Member Bob Clark.
Oh my God, that's so inspirational.
Yeah.
Bob Clark, everyone. Let's hear it for Bob Clark.
Yes, I need that. Thank you. I do like organizations. I've thought a lot about them. The question has to do with basically maintaining high levels of performance. I prefer to think about it as continuing to get better all the time. I think if you plateau, then in some respects you're losing time, losing opportunity to get better. So if you think about it, I think public organizations, municipalities, cities really need to do a better job of customer service. They need to be able to provide services at a high level. All of us have been disappointed by going, say, let's say you go to a drugstore and you're not happy with the service. Well, what happens if you don't like it? What are you going to do? Find another one, right? You choose another one. What happens if you're disappointed with the city services? What do? You're going to sell your house? No. So my position is it's even more important that the services we provide be even better than, say, commerce. Now, there are several ways that we can get better. I think one is by looking at the standards of professional organizations. We have, you know how large our gas services are. We're big. They belong to an American Public Gas Association. And in the last couple of years, they've earned some awards for safety, which is encouraging, is it not? That they're paying attention to safety when you're talking about natural gas. They also had a silver award for organizational efficiency by this organization, and they're going to apply for the next year for the GO standard. So, and if we look at our financial operations, the Government Financial Officers Association has these standards too. And so there are 2 standards recently that have been regarded by this organization that Keith Lee has put together for reporting for our budget. Our budget, I know all our council members understand the tremendous increase in our efficiency and the detail and the use of budget as a planning and control document. It's amazing over the last several years how much better it is. And so they've been recognized for that and reporting that. And they also have what's called a CAFR. It's a reporting standard called Citizens for Certificate of Achievement in Financial Reporting. And so that department is meeting those higher standards because it basically means better service to you. Now, there are also some ongoing things. Derek Turner and Steve North have developed this year, it's a 2-year program for staff development and leadership development that we're partnering with Carl Vinson Institute at the University of Georgia. And those classes are held at the UGA's campus here on Seaver Road in Gwinnett. And I think the first group of 15 is already moving through that program. Also, another thing that's going on right now is our IT department under Kyle Parker is really doing great stuff. There's a new program called Munis, and it's a comprehensive program that is going to connect all sorts of services in our city, including payroll, accounting, including human resources, and it's going to tie all those things together so that we have better information, quicker information, so that we can serve you better. So that if we have an accounting issue, we can always know the standard. One of the things about this program is it turns out a lot of data, and you need data to measure your performance. People need to know how good is good enough. Those numbers can help us do that, can help give you better service. And of course, the last thing is some things that have already done. You know, we have a brand new community or city services building on Pike Street. Have any of you visited in the past some of our offices that we had for city services when we were down on South Clayton Street? They were leaky, cinder blocks. They were not, folks, it was not anywhere near the type of facilities that you would want for your staff to work in, for your workers to be present. But the city now has those great, it's a great place. It's got lockers, showers, meeting rooms. It is a really quality place to do business, and it's great to know that our staff, our workers, are in that environment right now. People need the right sorts of tools to be able to succeed if they're going to provide you with the data and the services that you need. So, you know, people say in business that all you need to do to stay in business is be first, best, and cheapest. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Hardly. But if we can keep that in mind, if we make sure that we develop those services so that we're first with good services, with creative services, and we do them at a reasonable price for you, keeping price down, then we'll have done our job. So I think we're going to get there.
Thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Bob. So there's a couple of questions, Mayor, about focusing on affordable housing, and then also there was another question about low-income housing. I know that you addressed what the city is doing with moving the residential that was adjacent to City Hall to a new place. Do you want to mention that, or share what also the next step visions might be at a level that's acceptable?
We have some. The Lawrenceville Housing Authority is already coming to us with some developments. It'll be a total of about 300 units. 100 will be for workforce housing and for senior citizens, and then are 55 and over, 65 over. Then there will be a unit that will have 200 units, another development. And so those are structured where it will help to move some of our older 1950s product out and replace it with that. And then also 50% will be subsidized in some degree, and then 25% of the housing in those units will not, they'll be at market rate. And so that is some of the workforce we're that's looking at. That will be new. We're working really diligently to try to find ways to get our property owners that basically, in my opinion, have slums and won't improve them, and they're out of town. We can get them to find ways through code enforcement, through other incentives to improve their properties. So we're working at that. We have a lot of affordable housing in Lawrenceville. It's just not quality housing. And so people don't want to live there. And it's also difficult. We don't have any new housing at the 150 to 200 range. So that's sort of a desert we have. But then we also are trying to find where the places we can have executive housing, because we don't have that. We have one neighborhood that has all the homes are over 300,000. And so I know we have one house in Lawrenceville that's worth $1 million, because I've been told it's worth 12. So
it must be a house the city's trying to buy.
No.
Okay. No, that's worth $12 million.
But the thing is, we need to have some executive housing, because we just don't have it. Our per capita income is really high during the day, and then it drops significantly at night. So we've got to get people to live, work, play.
Right. Well, Mayor, you said in your earlier notes, I heard you say that your goal is that you're going to want to cover all income levels.
That's right.
So Lawrenceville is a place for everyone.
Yeah, I particularly prefer mixed income neighborhoods. I think where we live, I know that's what it used to be when I was growing up in the 60s. I think that's what it is now. And so I used to make the joke, I think, a judge should be able to live right next to a plumber, but now plumbers make so much money, you can't say that anymore. You have to pick another profession. But, I think it builds for a better community when you have different, different people living around each other, different cultures.
Yeah, socioeconomics, everything, everyone living together in the melting pot of what is Lawrenceville.
Right.
Mayor, so much is going on. You're inviting people to move here. You've got 13,000 students 2.2 miles away from the square. Just a lot of exciting activity. And has that put strains on the public safety? Is there things that you need to preserve and improve within public safety? Is that a concern? Do you have plans and thoughts about that?
We need to make sure we're paying our officers correctly and at market. And so I know staff is continually working on that. They do a great job. We want to make sure that they have the right resources. As you can see by the stats we put up, it's working. Those proactive cycles that they do going and looking at neighborhoods is up 10% from the previous year, and that's helped to drop, the rates of, of crime and whatnot. So I feel very comfortable. I get to see the Lawrenceville Police a lot, and as I'm driving through, and I'm, and they seem to be out doing the right things instead of just trying to, what do I want to say, give tickets out. So anyway. And
I bet Victoria Jones probably has some thoughts.
I think
about
she
public
could definitely
safety.
add to that more so. So Victoria, if you could help us with that question. And if y'all haven't met, I'm sure many of you have, but Victoria Jones was elected and she was unopposed this time too, so she only had to vote for herself, where I'm sure Clay voted for her. So,
I hope he did.
Yeah.
So what is our vision for public safety?
Yes, ma'am. That's the question exactly.
Okay,
It's a
all right.
great question.
That's a wonderful question. Well, first of all, I want to say that we have a great police department, and I'm so appreciative of Chief Wallace. Where are you? I saw you earlier. Thank you, Chief, for all you do, and for all the rest of the police department. You really are, it's great when you come into the police department and see how welcoming they are, and when you talk to the police department, to the officers, which I've done several times, I see how much they love their job and they love this community. And so I'm just so appreciative for what you do. So thank you to you and your staff. But I just want to say, as far as what we should look like, what the vision is, Chief is already doing those things. We've talked a lot about community tonight, and that's what I see from the police department. They have social media presence of reminding the citizens, of a 9 p.m. routine. Does anybody get those? Lock up your valuables. I love that. I really do, because that is important. I mean, you would be surprised at the number of people who do not lock up their valuables, who do not lock their car doors at night. And then what happens? Chief, you get the reports. You have to go out to do a report about, someone, had some valuables stolen because they failed to lock up their car. So that is important. But like I said, the police department, they are about community. They are from the 9 p.m. routines, from the Citizens Police Academy. They're educating our citizens about what they do. You're getting a good one-on-one, pretty much, about what their roles are here, and do they go to the jail or just do ride-alongs? Both. So, being about community, being part of the Citizens Academy, you get an opportunity to go to the jail and ride along with the police officer, which I have done, and it was pretty fun. So, yes. And I've been to the jail, and that was interesting.
She voluntarily
Through the ride-along.
You volunteered.
Yes, and also, Nick, today I was at the chamber and somebody said, who's been to the jail? But they didn't really want to know, but I would have raised my hand. Just want to let you know. As a visitor, that's all. But, so the police department are doing things that involve the community. They are, if you go to some of our lawn activities, they're out there and they're doing things to bring us together. So I like that idea, and I think that is the continued vision for the police department, is to have a presence in our community. But the other part of that is, we talked about tonight about some of the projects that are coming and how the police department would be part of that. We have the South Lawn, we have the LPAC coming, we have City View that's here, So we're trying to make our city a walkable place. And in order to do that, we also need our police to have that same presence, to be able to walk alongside people who are going to the Performing Arts Center, who are visiting our downtown. And so I see that as a vision that we will have a more walkable community with our police officers. And I think that's going to make a difference. And it will also be the preferred place for everybody to come, live, work, play, and learn. I'm going to add that.
That's good.
Is that okay? So those are some things that I envision. And another thing, in talking to the chief, we talked about the police department and it representing the community, the diversity of the police department. And if you followed Lawrenceville, I think that's the path that the chief is on right now. He's bringing diversity, and that is, he has police officers who represent the city that they're in. And that is important as we talk about our community, because we do want to represent our community as we go forward. So those are my visions.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've got one more question we're going to do as we wrap up, as it's just now hitting 8:30. Clearly, the city mayor has become ground zero for arts in Gwinnett. There's no doubt about that. Can you describe the pieces of the puzzle that's going to make make Lawrenceville the center of arts, if not just in Gwinnett, Metro Atlanta, the region, and arguably the world, Mayor?
Well, that should go to a person that knows a lot about art and is a professional photographer. So, Councilmember Martin, if you could please.
Okay, I'll be your river that flows through Lawrenceville, that's our arts river. Join with me on a raft going down David's River. It's been raining. The water's moving quickly, so we're going to make a quick tour through everything that makes Lawrenceville the epicenter of the arts in Georgia, the Southeast, and let's go worldwide.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, we are. Let's go back quickly to the day that we stole the Aurora Theater, brought those wonderful folks to Lawrenceville, and what a great change they've made in our community. They've brought understanding of the arts, they've brought education. It's not just their main stage productions. The Aurora, if you ride by during the day, all those school buses, kids coming in there, being exposed to the arts, understanding, learning. The program that goes on there is amazing, and the facility that we built for them. Come around the corner quickly. We've got to kind of lean on one side of the raft as we go around the Performing Arts Center, not just moving the Aurora in there, but expanding that program. That 500-seat theater is going to be an amazing thing. Ann Carroll sent me on an adventure a couple of weeks ago. Nancy and I went downtown to, what is it? The Alliance. Yeah, I have to struggle. You know, they're such a small organization. But let me tell you, we've got the Aurora. We saw some things going on. We went to a play in a theater about the size where ours is going to be. We've got some wonderful things to look forward to, and that's just multiplying. And we're bringing Georgia Gwinnett College and their drama program into that facility. We're opening up spaces for the community to be involved even more. Swing the raft, go all the way down to Central Gwinnett. Today there was a crew at Central Gwinnett High School putting up construction fences for the School of the Arts at Central Gwinnett High. This is performing arts, this is visual arts, this is the electronic side of supporting the arts. This is movie making, drama on stage, high-level education for high school students in Lawrenceville and high school students that want to come to Lawrenceville for that education. We've got our new Lawrenceville Arts Commission that is working on how to make art more visible and more integrated into our community. And the list goes on, but I won't.
Council member, thank you so much. That was great. Brevity is the last answer to the last question is always appreciated. Mayor, if I can tell you, this was so much better than my first State of the City. And that's really not a compliment because the bar was so low. You did an awesome job.
Well, I do want to say this. It takes team. And for us to get Lawrenceville where it wants to go, it takes all of us to be engaged in the community. It takes all of us with our different backgrounds, how we grew up and where we grew up. I mean, I've had to learn that if you want to know how to make Lawrenceville move forward, I had to learn about about New York. I have to learn about where Long Island is and where the Bronx are, because 40% of people right now moving to Atlanta are coming from New York. So I got to dive into that and learn more so I can understand people more, and so we can make a greater community. I want to just quickly say thank you to the staff. They do work so hard, the police department and the staff and all the utilities and at City Hall. They really work hard to make your city go great. Chuck's done a great job. We're so grateful to have him on these 4 years. And we appreciate y'all coming tonight. And with that said, we're adjourned.
Thank you.